Alrighty, we have a problem. She's at death's door, so we need to return and get her to her priest, but I don't really want to...
Our path leads on.
I want to finish this mission, so let's see if we can do that. A short, hooded figure is poking about some bodies lying in the middle of the street. The stranger drags the first body off the road, respectfully props it up against a wall, and places the corpse's hands on its chest. The figure then freezes, as if hesitating, and you see him reach out his hand toward the beautiful gold amulet hanging around the corpse's neck. He jerks his hand back, hesitates, then reaches out again. Lawful. After we just looted a body, sure. Well, well, look what we have here. Looting corpses, are we? Did you expect? Familiar said. Almost everyone is dead. The city now belongs to the demons and the vermin, rats, crows, and creatures like this one. The stranger almost jumps out of his skin. The hood falls from his head. Under a mop of red curls, a round, halfling face looks up to you. Ah, phew. I thought you were demons. Good day to you, good sir. Sealer's eyebrow lifted in apparent surprise. Curl, is that you? The halfling looks at Sealer and smiles broadly. Ah, Lady Sealer, you're alive. Goodness me, that's the second bit of good news on an otherwise lousy day. What was the first bit of good news? Stick around and see for yourself. Do you know this person, Sealer? Meet Rimvi, better known as Curl. He hails from Kinabris and he fights in the Condemned. The Condemned is a military unit made up of petty criminals conscripted as disposable soldiers and frontline fodder in the Mendevian Crusades. What the? Okay. He's one of a kind, a rogue with a heart of gold. Sealer smiles and adds a little more seriously. Curl, it's probably none of my business, but you should ask yourself if what you are about to do is right. The halfling's cheeks flush and he hides his hands behind his back. I just thought... no, it doesn't matter. Can you tell me anything useful about what's going on in the city? I'm afraid not, good sir. I just left the Defender's Hut. Before that, I was holed up in there, too scared to leave. Although, spending all the time under Commander Irabeth knows sure was something. She's a strict one. I can't. And when she gets antsy. So, what are you doing here? Robbing corpses? No! The halfling protests. Rimvi Curl may be a rogue, but he doesn't loot corpses. I just need to get these poor lads' bodies off the road. My friends and I are on a terribly important mission, and we need to get through. He is interrupted by the sound of wheels rolling on the paving stones. A cart drawn by a saddled horse appears from around the corner. A pretty half-elf is driving it. There's nobody driving. Oh, there it is. And a young man in knight's armor is walking alongside. Even from a distance, you can see his tanned face and his blue eyes shining brightly. The halfling straightens up. See? A terribly important and very heroic mission. My friends and I are saving a beer cart from the demons. Elan of the Hound Hearts. As he's speaking, the newcomers notice you, and the knight cries out in jubilation. Sealer! I thought I'd never see you again. I thought you were headed to the main square, the center of the demons' attack. Janar Aldori. The half-elf smiles warmly at Sealer. Hey, friend. Glad to see you all right. When we got separated by the crowd at the celebration, I knew right away that something was wrong. And when demons appeared all of a sudden, I realized that was the reason why I'd been so anxious. But I couldn't find you among the dead in the square. So I kept my hopes up, and I was proved right. Sealer's face lights up with joy. So you're the other bit of good news Curl was talking about. You and Jenna are alive. Actually, said Curl, by good news I meant that we found the beer cart. Helen and Jenna being alive amounts to a quarter of a bit of good news. Well, maybe half. Are there more important things to do in the city than saving other people's property? Helen of the Hound Hearts, you're absolutely right. I only agreed to help get the cart to the Defender's Heart because we found it's just a stone's throw away. But as soon as we deliver the cart, I'll get back to searching for survivors. By the way, my name is Elaine, Sir Elaine of the Hound Hearts. I'm glad to meet someone who survived this madness. You haven't told me how you know Sealer. I'll save that story till we're all back at the Defender's Heart. You're going back there, aren't you? We'll have reason to toast our spoils. Are you aware, Sir Knight, that your friend Curl was trying to rob a corpse? O'Grane, is that really necessary? Curl didn't even do anything. Whatever he might have been thinking, that's between him and his conscience. What's wrong with hearing the truth? I think Jenna and I have the right to know what our newfound friend is up to. Elaine looks sternly at the cringing halfling. I am not your commander, Curl, and I can't punish you or even condemn you. I suppose lots of people in Mendev think that the war justifies anything. But think about it, that dead fellow might have a family somewhere. His property and mementos should be returned to their rightful owners. They're bound to have sentimental value. Take this cart, for example. We might take it now, but once the city is freed, the Eagle Watch and the other orders will certainly try to find the lawful owners and compensate them fairly for their losses. Cool. Enough, friend. I didn't even do anything. I was just thinking about it. And honestly, I don't think we'll even be able to gather up all the bodies and hand them over to Eagle Watch. They'll be looted anyway. Well, that will be on the conscience of the ones who do it. The one who does it. But you're a crusader, Curl, though you might not have volunteered. Those who fight against evil itself have to be better than common folk with their moral frailties. Well, there's something right about that one. I have to go. So long, we're sure to meet again, either in the city or at the Defender's Heart. Jannar Aldori. Sure you will. Come to the tavern, and we'll celebrate the valiant rescue of the Sparrow together.
I will guide us. Did we step on their toes as well?
Too late for apologies. I hope you appreciate this.
These ghouls were gnawed to the bone by ghouls whose teeth... Wait, what? These corpses were gnawed to the bone by ghouls whose teeth were the likely cause of death. Okay. So, here we can cross this chasm. Cultist Evoker. Evoker! Oh, he needs to die fast.
The inheritors guide my blade!
We shall overcome!
Into the fray!
Helpful, am I not?
That is quite a discovery.
I'm curious.
A journal about an experiment. Experiment day 1. Today, I was able to catch a quasit. I'll already be my witness. It wasn't easy, considering my humble physical condition. Luckily, it was a scrawny specimen, about 7 pounds, with a wingspan of about 2 1/3 feet. When it awoke, the Quasit first tried to attack me and then ruined my clothes with his caustic saliva. Experiment Day 3. I've begun my linguistic research. My goal is to study the language of Quasits. I am quite convinced they have their own dialect. Through understanding their speech, I will be able to understand their way of thinking and convince them to rebel against their lord's tyranny. Revolution will roll through the abyss, and the powerless will rebel against their oppressors. I'm sure that ever-bloom Milani will not refuse their patronage even to such creatures as these, even if they would break their chains of slavery. Unfortunately, progress is thus far insignificant. I've been able to catalogue only 2 words, which I suspect must mean rend and carrion. Quasit formed both words quite vividly when commenting on my person. Oh dear, they want to eat him. While I was entering this record, the Quasit managed to... Oh, that's a lot. Oh, yeah. To steal my watch and throw it into the chamber pot. Judging by his spiteful giggling, he's quite delighted about his little joke. And despite the naughty trick, I am somewhat glad. Jokes and pranks are a part of cognitive communication, which I fully intend to establish with the specimen. I grow more and more convinced that I made the right decision in leaving Absalom and for a Logos, the so-called wise house. More like narrow-minded fools stuck in the past under the sway of their ringleader, the chatterbox, the fool of fools, Jubilos de Nachtroppel. They have never appreciated the progressive nature of my theories. Experiment Day 4. Today the Quasit almost bit my nose off while I fed him. In response to my shame, I beat him with a wand. Such behavior toward a sentient being is unacceptable, and I repent deeply. I have also run out of meat. The specimen and I will have to make do with porridge and soup. Experiment Day 6. It's been 3 days since the specimen switched to a vegetarian diet. At first the Quasit refused to eat plant-based food, but then ate some cabbage soup and poked at the porridge with his claw. His face looked so tragic. Experiment Day 7. The specimen has completely lost all signs of aggression. At dawn I was awoken by his moaning. The Quasit was rolled up in a ball in the corner, whimpering. Despite his dangerous appearance, it's quite impossible not to feel compassion toward the poor creature. I had to take prompt measures and give the specimen a laxative potion. The Quasit now reacts to me with confusion and fear, but at least it's not suffering anymore. His gastrointestinal tract must have reacted unhappily to the unfamiliar diet. Experiment Day 10. What a great journey. And day. Switch to completely plant-based diet is complete. The theory that Quasits can only eat meat and carrion has been disproven. My eternal opponent, Sir Jubilost, will just have to go drown himself in a river. The Quasit has become peaceful and easygoing. He no longer tries to eat my boots or the feet inside them. The specimen's behavior has become gentle and friendly. He shows some interest in ball games and physical exercise. I have named him Pecker. Today he initiated communication and attempted to explain a new word to me. By all evidence, he was making up the word during the communication process. There has never been such a word in the Quasit language. The meaning, as I understand it, is safety, comfort, and calm. I see no further need to keep Pecker on his chain. This experiment has convinced me that the vicious and evil traits attributed to Quasits are acquired habits, not natural or inherent to their nature. Over these days, I really have grown fond of him, and by all evidence, Pecker likes me too. He's gotten used to napping on my knee while I'm writing my observations in my journal. Maybe someday this Quasit will become my familiar. The current stage of the experiment is over. Pecker and I are soon off to Absalom to present our findings before the professor for a Logos and become a scientific sensation. On our way, we will make a small detour to Avistan, so that Pecker will have a chance to better adapt to civilization. I hope the little trickster enjoys the journey. Well, I'm quite curious if... Are you kidding me? If the little one will survive that journey. Stories told us by spirits. The Knight, with harrowed hands, Canabris Medium Alliance Publishing. The demon puts 2 plates on the table in front of me. On each, a bleeding human heart. What the Look, the demon says. The one on the right belongs to a noble and righteous man, loyal servant of Iomide. The left one, the heart of a murderer and a scoundrel, but something tells me they taste exactly the same. I remain silent and don't move. I couldn't even if I tried. One of my hands is pinned to the wide armrest, with a knife thrust to the hilt. The other similarly pinned helpless on the table. The demon circles and carefully brushes away a strand of hair that stuck to my forehead. Your silence saddens me. Don't waste your time on this performance, monster, I say, though I have scarcely the energy to breathe. If you wish to torture me, go ahead. If you want to kill me, then kill me. My life is in your hands, but my soul is not and never will be. The hearts on the plate in front of me continue oozing blood. They've only just been ripped from their owners' bodies. The right one apparently belonged to my partner. The left to the criminal we were escorting. But the demon, who'd set his lair in the old mill, killed without discrimination. He walks around the armchair and stops behind my back, placing a clawed hand on my shoulder. This is not a performance at all. It's a feast, and I will be sated. No, not with this. You can see my eyes still on the hearts. With you. It's your heart that's in front of me right now, so helpless. The claws on my shoulder tighten a bit. Goddess, help me endure. After a moment, the demon continues. You know what you don't understand, you zealous servants of law and good. He seems to like the sound of his own voice. It was you who brought us to your land. The more of you who gather here, the edge of the world wound. So brave, burning with righteous wrath. The more, like me, will come from the abyss. It's not because we want to win a war and conquer your world. Perhaps our lords want this, but trust me. They are as far removed from their subjects as your lords and kings are from you. No, we come for those like you, the persistent and the proud, who want to break until the end, for those whose suffering is sweet and lasts, for the sweets. He appears in front of me again, licking his lips. I well know that he'll never grant me a quick death. What the... That's a disturbing story. Okay. Oh well, he's dead. I thought he was about to leave the... Oh, too dead. The story didn't talk about other people.
They will break against our resolve.
I'll hit you! You won't stop us.
You have met the enemy Dredge who possesses the damage reduction, but yeah, we know, blah blah blah. Let's heal our guys with a couple potions. Another potion. Another potion. These fighters must have been caught off guard. They died before they could even draw their weapons. Their bodies are covered in a thin layer of ice that is slowly melting. Clear the blockade. Why can't...
Surrender.
Well, that's
or else.
odd. What is this?
The heartbeat quickens.
What is this? Why can't I clear the blockage? What am I missing here? What the heck?
No glory.
I mean, it's quite obvious at this point that something's wrong. Is it not possible to clear this blockage? Is this just a never-ending trap? I mean, that's ridiculous.
No reason to pause.
So apparently it is impossible for us to clear this blockage. We're not supposed to clear this. Okay. And there is no trap that I can see here where I can interact. So let's just leave this. Interesting concept. Let's just play something that cannot be solved. The player will instantly regret doing that. These people were not killed by demons. Their mortal wounds were inflicted by ordinary weapons. What? Wait, what, did we just adopt a tiger? What the heck? Did that just happen? What? We have a tiger now? Tiger. Feral instinct. What? Hello there. I mean, I don't mind. It's just interesting. I was not expecting this.
I will help
Cool.
where I can.
Very cool.
I stand ready. Godspeed.
Hear me, take heed! The waterstone is their target. They must not be allowed to capture it. The consequences will be disastrous. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Let us press on.
The Temple of Desna.
Me draw the first blood.
Guide my blade!
For apologies.
We march ahead. Our path leads on.
Did we find trouble? No, they did.
Damn, you had 70 lives. That was a lot. Oh, we need to wait for the combat to finish before we can use anything. What's that? Short spear. All of these unidentified weapons. How do I identify weapons? Maybe I have to ask Google. I mean, the game is not telling me.
I will guide us.
Count Arende's servant. Thank the gods I found someone who isn't fleeing in panic. Crusaders and mercenaries? The comely half-elf is so frightened he can barely get words out. I'm a servant of Count Nevis Arende. My mention is attacked by demons. The master himself and all the traps inside, and the house guards are nowhere to be found. I managed to escape through a servant's passage to look for help. Will you get me here? The mansion is only throws away on the next street. Sorry. He meets your gaze with pleading eyes. Count Arende. Oh, I've seen him a few times before, from afar. He looked highly audacious. Wait, what? My hand touched the spacebar. Okay. You've heard about the Arende family before. This wealthy and noble Mandavian dynasty was almost wiped out by demons more than 10 years ago. The last surviving member of the family, the young Count Daran, has an infamous reputation. He is well known for being a rake and a rogue. Misfortune continues to dog the house of Arende, I see. Servant cringes. You're telling me. Everyone tried to talk me out of taking up the position, saying that it can't have just been bad luck that brought tragedy down on the family and almost killed off the line, but I reasoned that since my master was the only one to survive that calamity, that meant he must be blessed by fate and the powers of good. The pay was nothing to sniff at either. Servant casts his eyes around the street. I should have listened to people smarter than me and gone to work somewhere else, preferably far away from Kenabres. Tell me more about what happened. I'll tell you what I can. I was working from dusk till dawn and back to dusk again, serving guests at the Count's banquet. When the other servants came to relieve me at my post, I went to sleep. Next thing I woke... I wake up and there are demons inside the mansion. I couldn't even reach the Count. The monster had blocked the way. The Count's banquet was still going on. He and his guests were in the great hall, and as far as I could tell, the door to the room was sealed, and the demons couldn't get in. I'm begging you, hurry. The mansion's doors are sturdily built. The demons will have to work hard to get past them, so you still have time to rescue the people inside. Alright, I'll help. Where's your master's house? It's not far at all. You're better off entering from the next street over. Though the passage I used to get out. Help, I'm begging you. I like to think what the Count will do to me if I don't bring back help. Okay. Area exit. Interesting. Abyssal corruption. Okay, but first we're going into this temple. Fanfare of the Faithful. Soon as... you know what? I'm going to end this episode. I need to pause. There's so much reading going on. Until next time.